I am ready with your second revision class. As we had a discussion on Google Meet that how the things would be more clear with revision classes, and a few of the students were interested for second time revision of learning theory. Last class I discussed out of 4 learning theories, 2 learning theories have been discussed last class, and they are social conditioning theory and operant conditioning theory. I already discussed. Today I will revise rest of the 2 theories that is also essential for human learning in organizations. So what learning theories today I will explain? Today I will explain cognitive learning theory, cognitive learning theory and social learning theory. Let us first explain what is cognitive learning theory. Students, as all we know that every learning process need not require any motion or action. What operant conditioning theory or social conditioning theory was discussing, they discussed about learning occur in case of what even Pavlov explained, through physical action, through the series of event, how any creature learns, how an individual learns, how an animal learn, or whoever. So it requires some sort of motion and action, correct? But cognitive learning theory is the opposite of operant conditioning theory and social conditioning theory. This particular theory speaks based on the knowledge, interpretation, understanding, idea of a human being about his environment, about his learning. So learning depend upon what knowledge, what interpret, the way how one interpret, what knowledge he possesses, what idea that he possesses, that really impacts human learning rather than the human movement or interaction. What this particular cognitive theory speaks, that learning is completely a thought process, human thought process. It means how much human being is mentally sound, how much human is mentally healthy, that depend upon the learning is very fast when the human brain memory process is very strong. If human being's memory process is very strong, psychologically if one is very sound, then that individual could be able to learn better, faster than other. So what cognitive theory, moreover cognitive theory explains that it is completely based upon the psychologically how one interacts, psychologically how one strong. Suppose a person is mentally very sharpened, his memory is very sharp, then his learning procedure will be very sound and very fast. So is this learning really occurs within human being? Absolutely. This cognitive learning is really acts in case of human being. For example, if a boy want to learn how to observe time, how to calculate the time in a watch, so for that reason he may not require any kind of action or motion or movement. In that case, then he required to understand how different hands in the clock moves. He required to calculate what is hour, what is minute, what is second, how minutes, how seconds could be calculated or turned into minutes, how minutes could be calculated in seconds, how seconds could be identified in milliseconds. He required to see and observe that every hand, the number in the clock, and so what it requires is at the same, at the million of in the a few seconds he has to calculate the timing if he observe. So it depends, it's completely mental exercise, it's completely mental exercise. You can say cognitive theory speaks that an individual learn fast if is mentally, psychologically is very strong and sound. So what we can say, we can say that this particular theory of learning will really work out not only in case of how an individual or a boy watches time, but also an individual suppose we can talk in a mathematics class. In a mathematics class, every students are not mathematically very strong and sound. You can say that mathematically one is very strong and sound if his logic part is very strong. If logically he is very sound, if one is logically so strong, if one is scientifically very strong, numerically very strong, he can perform very good calculation. We can understand the formula, he can understand the calculation, and he can get better result and improve the problem and solve the problem. But some students may not perform equally. Second, in case of computer science also, whenever they write programs, they write algorithms, they give some input and they calculate the process. The process requires some sort of memory in order to get better and accurate result. So cognitive theory speaks that learning somehow is completely depend upon the mental task, mental process, where an individual required to process every data such a faster and better. In organization it also works the same. In an organization, whenever training process is going, whenever all the employee, all the technician, all the managers, all the engineers may not perform equally. Some perform, they understand the concept, they understand the technique well, they understand the operation well, easily. Though it's a completely memory based exercise. It is completely psychological pattern of exercise, where some people can better grab the skill, grab the knowledge, operate, perform the thing more qualitatively and give the better result, qualitative result and smoother work. Some require time to learn. So how is it possible? Depend upon how an individual actually perform the task, actually perform the things well according to the cognitive process, memory process. So what I can say is the gist of this particular theory, it is based upon 4-5 things. First, it is based upon the knowledge that individual have, knowledge. Second is interpretation of knowledge. Third is the understanding idea about that task. Idea, understanding, and so this is the cognitive theory, learning theory. Probably this particular concept is understood. If still it is not understood, you just call me. I will try to explain it in a better example, better way. So last theory of learning, it is also highly important, that is social learning theory. Social learning theory. What this particular theory speaks that learning, this theory is also known as observational theory. Learning through observation, learning through close look, learning through imitation, or you can say copy somebody. How can one learn? One can learn through proper understanding, evaluating behavior of an individual to whom he influenced by, or by whom his behavior is influenced. You can say whose behavior is attracted. We usually try to observe their behavior. So this particular theory of social learning theory speaks that every individual in the day-to-day life, they are being attracted, they are being stimulated by different people all around. They may be their teacher, they may be their parents, maybe their friend, maybe the colleague. You can say they may be the politician, maybe somebody in the cricket or Bollywood. So every individual has a model. You can say model to whom they like most. That is, social learning means they learn from the social model. Who are the social model? Maybe anybody in the society. You can say every individual to whose behavior they like most, they try to observe their behavior, copy their behavior, and try to follow them. You can say models behavior required to be observed first, then this model's behavior has to be practiced, and try to copy them in our day-to-day life for better response and better life. You can say that, for example, right now Virat Kohli is one of the successful batsmen who is technically very sound in its cricket batting style. And many youngsters at the present time, they observe how Virat Kohli bats. They observe their, you can say, their style of batting, the way he defends, the way how he plays with the shots, the footwork, everything, the way how he field, the way how prepare the strategy on the field, on the ground. So what is this? This is the procedure how an individual observe the model, copy the model, and you can say copy the model, and you can say follow him as per the behavior he shows. So this is something you can say social learning. So we can it requires systematic process. One blindly cannot observe things, and he cannot do the task accordingly. Blindly observing and imitating and practicing is not possible. Usually social learning theory come across with 4 major steps. First it is attention. Second is retention. Third is motor reproduction. And fourth is attention, retention, motor reproduction, and reinforcement. These 4 systematic method usually a person follow, a learner follow while he observe his model. I told who is the model to whom he like most. So first let us understand this particular process, how an individual really learn from the surrounding. First word is attention. Attention is nothing but is that process where individual is influenced by the behavior in the environment, the nature of any individual he likes most. You can say attention is the first important towards whom one is fascinated, towards whom one is attracted. You can say I am attracted in my life, I am attracted towards many of my teachers, many of the scholars, many of the intellectuals to whom I met and interacted in my life. So every time when I see, automatically my attention attracted towards them. So this is the first process where whose behavior we like most, our attention automatically shifted. So learners attention, it's the first process. Learner's attention is automatically drawn towards the model's behavior. This is the first attention. Then whatever behavior he got in the attention process, second it is retention. Retention means it is the procedure of copying. It is the procedure of copying. Whatever behavior the model actually performs, what are the outcome that model has shown, the learner try to retain it, try to copy it, try to imitate it, try to observe and capture it, the behavior, the attitude, the style, the process that he follow, the personality. He always try to follow another individual. You can say that is the process of retaining the skill, knowledge and information, whatever the model shows. He tries to, so only observing and adopting over. Learning yet to come. Third is motor reproduction. In motor reproduction, whatever behavior, whatever attitude, whatever thing he actually grabbed and observed, in motor reproduction, the learner tried to show, try to present independently, without any, whenever the model is absent, he require to represent that his behavior. He try to represent his behavior independently and must be, you can say, lead to some sort of outcome, response alike the model response. That is what we can say motor reproduction. Fourth, it is reinforcement. Reinforcement actually is that phase, that process where the learner, in fact, try to produce the behavior, whatever he learned, in order to achieve something in his life. That is, reinforcement is that phase where by showing, by applying the skill, applying the behavior of the model, whenever the learner learned and interpreted and get the task done, achieved something in the life, then he can say, I am here, rationalize my learning, and this lead to success. So retention is that process which leads to achievement of objective, achievement of goal, which leads to, later on leads to better response, better outcome, and make an individual success in the life. This is all about social learning theory, where attention becomes retention, which leads to response in form of motor reproduction. Later on, that leads to success, achievement of goal. This is what I mean say social learning theory. I have given you all the notes of social learning and cognitive theory. Please go through the detail of notes and follow the video, previous video too. And if still your doubt, you feel that your doubt is still alive, it is not clear, then you just consult me. I will try to make you interact online, and will try to make your doubt clear individually and personally. This is all about the revision class part 2. Unit 1 is over. Next week I will come across with a case study and will try to represent a case study, analyze a case study, and solve it for say third year, for this year, first case study on learning will be the actual central concept where we will discuss a case study. Thank you very much for having patience listening me. Thank you.